The court also announces that all parties are prohibited from recording this proceeding or any portion of it, electronically or otherwise. I would like to have Ms. Weatherby back in the camera. All right, Ms. Weatherby is back in the camera. For purposes of this pretrial hearing, what says the state?
State's ready, Your Honor.
And the defense?
Present, ready, Your Honor.
Do we have any pretrial matters to take up in Ms. Weatherby's case at this time?
The state does not, Your Honor.
Defense?
I would just renew my motion for competency made at our last pretrial hearing, Your Honor.
State?
Judge, I haven't seen the motion. It's under seal, and I don't think I got a copy of it whenever it was originally filed. But I have been discussing the competency matter with Ms. Fay. I've reviewed the same documentation that she received, or that we both received from the Lubbock court system regarding her competency evaluation that she had there, I think back in 2018, with regard to a pending case that she has still pending in Lubbock County. Certainly, I haven't dealt with Ms. Weatherby like she has on a personal basis, but it's obvious from the documents that I've received from Lubbock that at least in 2018, she was deemed by their court up there to be incompetent and found by the psychiatrist or psychologist that did her examination to be somebody who is not likely to be restored to competency. I believe she was referred then, and Ms. Fay, please correct me where I might be wrong. The Lubbock court system had 2 additional doctors do certificates of medical examination of her as part of what I would call the civil commitment process. And those physicians stated that she was not a candidate for inpatient commitment, but was, and again, I haven't seen those certificates. I'd like to get a copy of those to see those. I'm just relying on what her attorney up there has stated, that she was, like I said, deemed not a candidate she didn't meet the criteria for inpatient involuntary commitment, but instead was referred for outpatient services. And then after that, she moved to Snyder and has not been receiving services based on the Lubbock order, but perhaps has been receiving some MHMR services here. And that's kind of about all I know, Judge, about those details.
The motion that I believe Ms. Fay references, it was filed by Ms. Fay in this action, and it's not under seal.
Okay. I was just trying to find, I just was looking at it on the, whatever we call it, the iDocket program, and it's not available for me to click on and view for whatever.
Really?
It says under seal on the iDocket program. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. It is physically in the court's file, physical file. All right. What is your position, Mr. Smith, regarding that request, even though you haven't seen it?
Judge, I think I would suggest that before you fully consider that request, that you allow us an opportunity to get those additional documents from the Lubbock court system, just so that we can have a little bit of additional information that might bear on, I don't think it'll bear on whether or not she's competent, but it might bear on the process as we go forward from here. I don't want to, if there is a process that we can agree upon to go forward in this case that does not involve us appointing another psychologist to make an examination of the defendant, I'd like to pursue that option before we spent the money on that. Although
Your
that
thought?
may be what we wind up doing anyhow.
Your thought, Ms. Fay?
I have no objection to proceeding on what the Lubbock courts have already evaluated, their evaluation and their certificates that have been filed. I just feel that if there's any question in this court on her competency, even after reviewing the evaluation that's been done in Lubbock County, I would have to request to move forward on my own motion because I don't believe my client's competent, and I just can't proceed without pushing that motion forward.
Well, I'm concerned about someone not being competent, but moving about the community without adequate supervision. Something needs to be done quickly. If the material can be obtained from Lubbock County, and if that is sufficient to resolve the issue here, then I think it's a good idea to try to get that information from Lubbock. If that's not going to be forthcoming, then we will need to have Ms. Weatherby evaluated pursuant to Ms. Fay's motion. So how much time does the state need to get those documents?
Judge, I think those documents are probably in the possession of District Attorney's Office in Lubbock. I've dealt with an assistant DA in this case previously, if she's still there and still working this case in the mental health docket there. I would hope that she could get me those documents within a few days. I know that Ms. Fay's also been in contact and working with her defense lawyer in Lubbock, who specializes also in working on the mental health docket there. And I expect we could both put our hands on those documents within a few days.
Mr. Smith, do you have a copy of the evaluation where she was deemed incompetent? Okay, I have that, so I just wanted to make sure you have.
I have that. I have the court order that finds her to be incompetent, and then I have the court order that requests the certified medical documents. I forget what that requests that the two additional physicians look at her and do an evaluation. I just don't have the medical evaluations themselves that were in furtherance of the civil commitment process and got Lubbock to the point where they finished with the case.
All right.
So I'd like to get those. I think that might tell us where we're supposed to go. It might save the county a little bit of money. I'd like to know that within a few days. If we know that within a few days that it's not, then Judge, I'll let you know. We'll set another hearing perhaps and move forward with a new evaluation here, and we'll begin the process basically afresh here in Scurry County.
Is that acceptable, Ms. Fay?
Yes, sir.
Then I will accept that. But I want to have, I'm not sure how best to do it. I don't want to just postpone this and let it drift out into the deep ocean and get lost as it has done before. So is it agreeable that if Mr. Smith determines that a new evaluation, a new psychological evaluation on the issue of competency is in fact, as requested by you, Ms. Fay, is in fact needed and appropriate, is it all right if he presents an order to me to require that?
Yes, sir. And I do believe an order was e-filed with our motion on February 7th of 19. So whether it be that order or his order, that's perfectly acceptable to me.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else we should take up this afternoon?
No, sir.
No, Your Honor.
I'm going to state for the record that this may be one of those exceptions that exist under the Supreme Court orders for an in-person hearing. If so, that's going to take some more work by the court to get, you can't just go by the exception. There are some additional steps the court has to take to get that accomplished. If it's appropriate, and the defense counsel's motion for an incompetency examination, if that is something that is agreed upon or agreed to by the state, that's appropriate and necessary, then I wouldn't require another hearing. Just present me with the order that calls for that. All right.
Right.
There being nothing else, one last chance, there being nothing else, we'll be in recess. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. House, you can come off the phone call.
I'll end it for her.
Okay,
Thank
back on, unmuted.
Let me get her out of the Zoom.
Your Honor, did you want her back?
I'm sorry, there may have been a
As quickly
question.
as possible. Woo. Okay, thank you.
At some point in time, Ms. Fay, right now it's just you and me, and let me get Terry and Kayla off. And
All
let
of
me
you